I am the daughter of two poor villagers. We lived in a quiet, forgotten corner of the world, far from anything you might call modern. Our life was simple, peaceful. We knew from the merchants who passed through that other races existed in the wider world. But I never truly believed in monsters, not until my own fiancé, my childhood sweetheart Brandon Roosevelt, sold us all to them. The monsters came in the shape of wolves. When my father, his voice shaking with hurt and fury, demanded to know why, Brandon just smiled. And then he changed. His body twisted and grew, becoming one of them. He looked down at my father with cold animal eyes.
Blame your daughter,
He snarled.
for being so soft-hearted. How can you raise such a stupid human?
His lackeys laughed, a chorus of harsh, guttural barks. My mother, in a final, desperate act, pulled my sister and me away. She hid us in the basement, behind a secret door she prayed would go unnoticed. But they had the senses of beasts. They found us in moments. I remember the sound of splintering wood, the sight of my sister being dragged away, her screams tearing at my soul. I fought, I clawed, but it was useless.
Throw this one with the rest.
Brandon ordered, pointing at me. Then he gestured to my weeping sister.
But keep that one secure. She and her sister will fetch a high price.
His betrayal was a physical blow. His words, they froze me solid. I was numb, trapped in a nightmare as I watched our village burn. The world became a haze of orange flame and black smoke. I saw villagers, good, kind people, run to help me, only to be captured themselves. It was as if I had been buried alive, my ears filled with earth, disconnected from my own body. The shock began to thaw into a cold, sharp terror when they shoved me into a cage. I screamed for my father, my voice raw. I scanned the faces of the other captives, all young, all around my age. I didn't see a single elderly person. And then I saw him. My father, fighting his way toward me through the chaos. Our eyes met for one last, heartbreaking second, before he fell, his hand stretching out for me, forever just out of reach. Once the cage door clanged shut, my eyes darted frantically from one terrified face to another, searching for my sister. She was gone. I started to shake. And then with the others, I broke. We sobbed for the entire journey. A heavy drape was thrown over our cage, a feeble shield against the biting wind. It did nothing to stop the cold that had settled deep in our bones. In what felt like a single day, I had been transformed. From a normal, happy girl looking forward to her marriage, to a slave in the depths of hell. Eventually, we arrived. We were all herded into a cold stone cell. One by one, the others were taken away. Every time the cell door clanged open, a part of me died. I watched as girls, most of them mere children and teenagers, were led off to an unknown fate. Until finally, I was the only one left, shivering alone in the silence. But then, rough hands dragged me not to an auction block, but to a decent room. It was almost unnervingly normal, a single chair, a simple table. And then, he walked in. Brandon. The sight of his face unlocked something inside me, a torrent of grief and a rising, sharp hatred. I didn't think. I lunged at him, my dirty nails aimed for his eyes, but he was so much stronger. He pinned me against the wall with effortless cruelty, then let me drop to my knees. How could you do this to us? To me, I saved you. You were dying. I gave you a part of my life, and this is how you repay me? My father gave you a job when you had nothing.
Of course I won't let you suffer, Ruby. I just let you stay here long enough to break your pride, to turn you into an obedient slave. Your old world was a fantasy. Now wake up.
Rage, white hot and pure, flooded my veins. If he had never come into our lives.
You will be one of my personal slaves. Rest assured, my wife will treat you well.
Wife? The word hit me like a physical blow. He was married? When? Had he been married all along? The humiliation burned as hot as the betrayal. I had fallen in love with a married man. Before I could stop myself, I spat in his face. He recoiled, wiping his cheek with a snarl of pure fury.
Fine, rot in hell then.
After glaring at me one last time, he stormed away. The next few days were a new kind of horror. I was put to work. For scraps of food, I labored from dawn until late into the night, scrubbing floors and hauling water. I was bullied, pushed, and tormented. Then after 2 weeks, he returned in the middle of the night. Everyone else was asleep. A bitter, grim satisfaction washed over me when I saw him. He looked pale, exhausted. It was written all over his face.
If you become my slave, this suffering ends. I will treat you well, for the sake of our old affection. You will sleep in a clean bed. My wife knows you are my savior. She will treat you like a sister. She is a sweetheart. Ruby, let me pay you back.
I looked at this man who had once promised under the moonlight to marry me and only me for the rest of his life. My mind went blank, filled with a deafening, static buzz. I stared at him, a hysterical laugh bubbling in my throat, but only tears streamed down my face. Every day I had told myself to be strong, that one day someone would save me. Not Brandon, but someone else. I clung to my father's old words, the ones he'd say when I couldn't solve his puzzles. No matter how hard life is, there is always a way out. But little did I know, I was wrong. In this, there was no way out. Except one, to swallow my rage and accept his deal. And yet, Brandon, I started. Let's break everything here. I heard from your people that a proposal under the moonlight holds significance. So, we were engaged. Since you are married, our engagement is void, and I would rather die than follow you. I still remember how we got engaged. My father was against it. But I had insisted. Brandon's head snapped up. His eyes filled with disbelief. For a single fleeting moment, I saw a flicker of panic. But it was gone as quickly as it came, replaced by a cold, hard laugh.
This isn't what I wanted. Void. Who do you think you are? If you don't become mine, you will die. Can't you see that? I am the only one who can save you. No one else will ever treat you right.
And I still refuse.
I am giving you a choice. If not me, then the beast will claim you. No one has ever survived a single night with the beast.
If you wanted me, you could have taken me easily, Brandon. Giving me a choice when I have none is your special kind of cruelty. Do you still think I'm that stupid?
Yes, you are. So, be stupid for your own sake, and forget the past. People die every day. It's not a new thing. Get used to it.
His tone was perfectly calm, yet every word was dripping with venom. And in that instant, something inside me finally broke free. All the old feelings, the love, the longing, the hurt, vanished, leaving behind a cold, clear calm. Slowly, I reached into the folds of my ragged clothes and pulled out the necklace he had once given me. I had kept it, hidden all this time. He looked around, as if embarrassed, before reaching for it. His eyes lingered on the simple hand-carved pendant for a moment. Then his fist closed around it. I heard a sickening crunch as the wood splintered in his grasp. I stared, stunned. He had carved that necklace with his own hands. I had watched him work for weeks, believing it was a labor of love. and yet, to him, it held no value at all. Without another word, I turned and walked away, leaving him standing there. I returned to my cold, dark cell. To be honest, I felt relieved. It was never a good idea to fall in love with a werewolf. After Brandon's visit, the punishments began in earnest. Food became as rare as a needle in a haystack. I worked tirelessly, but the bullying intensified. The last shield I had, his twisted, lingering affection, was gone. Then, on the third night, as I lay struggling to silence my empty stomach, I received a visitor. A stranger, a woman, clad in fine, silken clothing, found me while I was sweeping the floors long after the other servants had gone to sleep. I was forcing myself to move, just to stay warm. She was followed by 2 attendants, who slapped their hands over their mouths as they looked me up and down.
So dirty.
I felt the heat of humiliation rush to my cheeks.
So, you are the dirty human my husband can't stop thinking about. Tell me, are you a witch?
My eyes widened like saucers. A witch? I wasn't that ugly. I'm not that ugly. To my surprise, the woman let out a sharp, genuine laugh.
What a silly thing you are. I decided to have you killed this morning. But seeing you now, I think mercy might be the better option.
She waved a hand, dismissing her servants. Once they were gone, her expression grew more serious.
I have no particular love for humans. But my father was once saved by one. Still, the world is a cruel place. So I will not stain my hands with your blood. I will let the world itself decide your fate.
With that, she swept away, leaving a cold dread coursing through my veins. After a moment, a shiver racked my body. There was nothing to do but resume cleaning. I needed to stay warm. Maybe if I worked hard enough, they would give me something to eat tomorrow. After a long and tedious night, I was finally given a meal. And what a meal it was. Real meat, with creamy mashed potatoes. For a moment I thought I was dreaming. But the dream ended abruptly. My nightmare returned, only it became worse. Rough hands grabbed me, dragging me outside the castle walls and deep into the forest. The man who threw me out shoved a small, crude knife into my hand before turning his back. I had tried to escape before, in vain. But now, tasting freedom for the first time in 2 months, I ran. I ran like my life was hanging by a single frayed thread, terrified that whoever had released me would change their mind. Then, slowly, the adrenaline faded. I stumbled to a halt, my breath puffing in white clouds in the frigid air. I had nowhere to go. No home, no family, nowhere to run to. The hope drained from me, and I slumped against a frozen tree, weeping bitter, hopeless tears. Night was falling rapidly. And with the darkness came a sound, a heavy, labored breathing that promised nothing but danger. I could feel the threat of it deep in my bones, and yet, a strange, instinctive voice within me told me to follow it. It was like a calling, a pull I couldn't explain. Clutching the knife, I crept forward, following the sound to its source. There, lying injured on a bed of pure white snow, was a wolf. It was immense, far bigger than any I had ever seen, even bigger than Brandon in his true form. And suddenly, the memory hit me with the force of a physical blow. Finding Brandon in the woods, injured. He hadn't been nearly as bad as this. or as large. My mouth went dry with a bitter taste. My fingers tightened around the hilt of the knife. Heart hammering against my ribs, I took a slow, cautious step forward.